thumbs up. We're good to go.
I think so.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, call the meeting in order, please. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As customary, we'll observe a moment of silence. I would announce this meeting is being recorded and televised by WHCA. I seek a motion to approve the bill and payroll warrants.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. I seek a motion to accept correspondence in the read file.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Public forum. If anyone would like to speak?
Yes, sir, I'd like to speak on something, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kowalski?
You'd be more comfortable going over there for it, I think. This is going to be very short, but important, I think, and meaningful. We have had the good fortune of having our former town administrator serve as the interim town administrator and as an assistant to Mary Beth in this transition period. And I just want to formally, on behalf of the board, even though they don't even know I'm doing this, I'd like to thank Frank for doing so. As we all know, Frank was a town administrator for a very long time. A lot of good things happened while he was. Our taxes were kept reasonably low compared to the towns around us. A new police station. We have improvements to this building, improvements to the fire station, a new high school. Just a ton of things happened. But this interim period has been a tricky one. And Frank jumped into it. He didn't have to. He was home with his grandchildren. And I just want to say thank you for him. And I thought an appropriate way of saying thank you was if you would come up. I called Leslie, and one of the more interesting events that we had during his tenure here was the cookie fiasco, and this lady brought cookies to serve to people as a gift, as a present, and all heck broke loose.
I promise these don't have the official town seal on them.
No, we'll show them. I called her up and I says, you know what? I think the best way to recognize Frank would be to maybe come up with a cookie. And so we talked about what we would
You
do.
now have your own mascot, Frank.
Here we have a copy or the town seal of Whitman.
Seal.
The town seal of Whitman.
The seal.
It has the unofficial town seal on its nose. He's taking care of it.
I wish he was here.
And we also have another cookie that says, and this was Leslie's idea, thanks for leading our circus. And Frank, I would like to give you these. So you could remember the time that you've had in this interim period. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Beach.
Thank you, Leslie.
That's so funny.
So funny.
Very good, Carl.
That's good.
I seek approval of meeting minutes for open session, February 21st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Old business, Whitman Middle School building project. In a second, I'll turn it over to the town administrator to talk about it, but I just want to make it clear that our last meeting was basically a brainstorming session of what this board felt needed. We needed to question a bit and possibly find some solutions. I don't think at any point any decisions were made, and I don't think anybody that came to that conclusion that we had made decisions probably should go back and watch the meeting again, because we made no definite decisions about this, and I'm pretty sure we even said we'd be talking about it in a subsequent meeting. So Mary Beth has done some research, and she's going to provide us with some facts, and whether or not we get a date this evening, I think we definitely should by the next meeting, but I'll just turn it over to you, Mary Beth.
Okay, sure, thank you. So I did meet with John Bates, the project manager for the Whitman Middle School project, and we discussed the timeline and the difference between waiting until the presidential primary election to have the ballot question. And the Whitman Middle School project is a massive project, and it's the largest building project to date in Whitman, with an estimated borrowing cost to the town of about $72 million. In the discussion with the project manager, delaying the town meeting and town election for this project would add 3 months to the schedule and 0.5% monthly for an escalation cost to the current $102 million construction estimate, which equates to additional $1,530,000. While I said that the town share was $72 million, the total cost of the project is $127,500,000 with MSBA funding. In the mid-40s, maybe upper 40s, 40%. So our share would be approximately $72 million. The total estimated escalation cost of the $1,530,000 would qualify for the MSBA reimbursement as well. So based on the estimated reimbursement percent of mid-40s, the town's portion would be approximately $826,650 if the town elected to delay the town election and the ballot question to March to coincide with the presidential primary election. While I know there'll be significant marketing for this project, I do feel that the town has an obligation to put the question out to the voters when the town would expect a high voter turnout. Having the Whitman Middle School project question at the presidential primary would be the best way to ensure that the ballot question for this project and the tax impact would be seen by the most voters. So.
And I think I made my position somewhat clear what I thought about it. I think we've all seen that probably the last major single ballot vote we had was the marijuana issue that fell on a holiday time. We did not have an extensive turnout for that. Now, I personally would hate to see a borrowing and funding vote that would be historical for this town fall with minimum turnout. So that's why, thanks to Mr. Evans, whether he knew or not, but he gave that a recommendation of the March primary. I think we probably see at least 4,000 to 5,000 people come out for a typical primary vote. It's certainly a heck of a lot better than trying to judge this off 1,000 people and having a tax ramification of close to probably 14%. With the borrowing of $72 million. So I'll open it up for any discussion from the board first, and if anyone sitting down wants to add any, we'll go like that, and we'll continue the discussion and see where it takes us.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with both you and the town administrator. It makes all kinds of sense to try to attract the greatest number of people, because it is such an expensive item, and it's such an important item for the parents of the town. And I think it's if we get permission to do so at the March, at that time, if we can wait until that time, I think that's definitely the way to go.
I'm now wondering if I should have brought this up, because at $800,000, I think is a little hard for me to swallow. I understand that. I agree that we should try to get the highest turnout possible, but to do so and really raise the cost of the project on the taxpayers, I don't know if that's the right move for this board, at least for me.
I feel that I would want as many taxpayers, as many voters to vote on this town residents as possible. And if it means, 800,000 on top of I know it's a lot of money, but on top of 72 million, how much is that going to increase, on the taxes, that 800,000? But I think it's more important that as many people have a right to voice their opinion and vote. And if we delay it, the primary will bring out more voters. Unless we hear from the voters themselves saying, if we have it at the regular town election in May, we'll come out. But I just hate to see 1,000 people make a decision on 14,000 residents, voters.
I agree. I agree with you guys saying that. I think the highest number of voters that we can get out to vote on this issue really makes sense. Is there a way that we could do that in November? If it just is unrealistic that would happen in November, then obviously the March date makes more sense. But if there could be some sort of compromise to make it happen, that would be an interesting thing to explore or consider.
Mr. Small.
Fred Small, 87 Hilltop Road, also the chairman of the Whitman Middle School Building Committee. There's a mouthful. And I can appreciate that you folks have put in a hard predicament here. We definitely want to see as many voters as possible come out and make the decision. My feeling is this project has been out there for a couple of years now. And to be able to move forward as quickly as possible is not irresponsible. Now, holding an election during holiday times, Randy, you're 100% right in my mind. I agree with you. People have a lot of things going on. You're trying to fight a Thanksgiving turkey, Santa Claus, etc. A special town meeting in January, followed by a general ballot question, hopefully, in February, would bring out people that are interested in how this project goes, good and bad. While we want as many voters as possible, everyone will have the opportunity to come out and place a ballot vote, whether it's in February or it's in March. They'll have that opportunity. No one's taking that away from them. It just matters where their passion lies. And you'll have people who'll be passionate on both sides of the equator.
That makes sense, too.
And we will have those people that will come out. And I think that might be a nice compromise that, A, it doesn't cost the project the entire amount of money. It still gives the public the opportunity. And we can move and know what we're doing. And we can go on. And hopefully we get a project, at least from my viewpoint, so that we can take care of our old 50-something-year-old middle school and, move on with everything. So I hope that you guys could consider something like that. Thank you.
So just to clarify your proposal, you would want to have the town meeting in January and the special town meeting in the ballot vote in February.
I believe there are some timeframes that have to be obtained once the special town meeting's gone, and then for the ballot vote. And that's why I say, that type of time frame. If it can be earlier for the ballot vote, that's fine too.
Mr. Galvin.
John Galvin, 41 High Street, also a member of the Middle School Building Committee. I just want to kind of expand on what Mr. Small just asked there. Could you clarify what the timeline is that's needed? I know that right now the committee is trying to get to an October 26th MSBA meeting, but there's no reason why the Board of Selectmen has to wait till that date to set the warrant or approve the warrant. They could meet 3 weeks earlier than that, 2 weeks earlier than that, because all of the information will be done. There's nothing that's going to change at that meeting. That meeting is basically a ceremonial approval to move forward to the vote. It being that said, you could have the vote on October 30th. The town meeting on October 30th. But what I don't know is the time frame that's required between a town meeting and the actual vote. I know in the spring, it's 2 weeks. I don't know if that can be moved faster or if it takes longer. I heard before the meeting that there's something longer. I'd like to hear officially how much time we do need between the special town meeting and the vote. Also, well, I'll just leave it at that for now.
So I think we would need to post the ballot question for 2 weeks, or 10 days?
35 days after the meeting.
35 for a special.
Mary Beth and I went over this last week. We have a Prop 2.5 guide downstairs. The unique thing about the annual town meeting and election is they're set in the bylaw, and they are considered one event. The meeting and the election comprise the town meeting, and that's why there isn't a further expanse of time between the two. Anytime you call for an election, when you vote to schedule that election, you need to give the clerk 35 days to present the ballot. So if you were to hold it on January 1st, you couldn't hold an election until February 6th or 5th, whatever that 35 days is. And there is no negotiating in that. That is a requirement of law.
And then there also is a piece of this that from the time MSBA votes on it at their October meeting, you only have 120 days to send it to ballot.
That is correct.
So-
That's correct.
Just to give a history of just the meeting, and Fred, you can jump in if I get this wrong, I'm also on that committee. You have a 180-day window to send the entire project to ballot vote from the time you get selected by MSBA. They choose your
When we're
project
invited into the,
into the queue, let's say. We already know that we're going to be filing an extension. We will not meet that because we've had to delay this project because of an issue with the RFS,
Yeah, for the OPM, correct.
of the OPM.
We had to do it twice.
To no fault of the town. So we know we're filing that extension. As far as MSBA is concerned, what we would need to do is just be asked to be placed. They meet 6 times a year by every 2 months. Would need to be placed on the December meeting, which I think would be,
it's December 5th or 6th, if I recall correctly.
December 13th.
Of what, 23?
of 23. If we gave a date of, January 20th or so for a special town meeting, then we would hit that,
25 days is basically the primary anyway.
the primary.
Yeah.
So, your question beyond that, John?
Well, I just have one more clarification. It's my understanding on the presidential election that the only thing allowed on the presidential ballot is the presidential election. So you would need a second ballot at that election, so you're going to have to handle 2 ballots.
Yeah, that's
So-
an issue. Yeah, I see that as an issue.
I think you should probably check with the clerk's office to see if they can process 2 ballots simultaneously.
And we did call the state on that issue as well, and they said it's not a problem at all that you can do that. It would just be a separate ballot.
So the voters would take 2 ballots instead of 1.
That is correct.
And for a presidential primary, there would likely be a high early vote or mail-in vote contingent too. So if we can mail our ballots with those or process them as well, it creates some logistical questions, but I think for the turnout it's worthwhile. And if the timeline is going to be there anyway, then I guess it makes sense.
And the state didn't think that was an issue, having the 2.
Did I recall in a previous meeting that we're not doing mail-in ballots anymore? No, we're not
The
doing
town election.
early voting, we're only doing mail-ins?
For the annual town election, but this would be this is a special election, and the presidential primary would have, by state regulations, has to have a mail-in and an early.
So included in that mail-in would have to have a mail-in for
We would have to
Yes,
mail
as
out
well.
2 ballots.
separately?
I'm not sure.
You may want to think about that before you
Right.
make a vote, because that'll be a separate cost.
Because I know that in the past, we've had ballots where there's been a question on the backside of the ballot. A lot of people don't turn them over. They forget. And I'm thinking, well, you hand people 2 ballots, are they going to use it, or are they going to, I don't know.
Yeah, and just at a primary, you request one ballot or the other, and you would also be handed, walking in the town ballot. So it's,
All
we
right.
should think about this a bit.
So we have some logistic questions that obviously, I was hoping the clerk would be here this evening. I guess she did talk about this in the Finance Committee meeting. Unfortunately, she didn't come here. So I would say let's get her on for the agenda. We'll take this back up again, and we'll decide a date at the March 21st meeting. If that's the best direction I could give you right now.
Can appreciate the fact that you folks have to make a decision. It's not an easy decision. And I'm sure, given all the facts, you'll make the best decision possible.
All right. Anything else on that topic for anyone? Or? All right, moving on. COVID update, Chief Clancy.
Good evening. Just a quick update. This past week, we only had 16 positive cases in town out of 244 tests performed for a positivity rate of 6.5%. Let's have it be noted that that's a 50% decrease from the previous week, dropped by 50%. And we can only hope that this trend will continue as people move back outside as we approach spring. Also, the wastewater report over the last few weeks has shown a gradual decrease, although we are still waiting to hear back on the machine, the testing machine through the DPW and the Board of Health. If we can acquire that machine, our test results will become a lot more valid. Thank you.
All right, with the board's permission, I would like to just take a couple things out of order for some people sitting in the back. Under old business, agree to sign the collective bargaining agreement for SEIU Local 888. Let's seek a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we've all had a chance to go through it. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Sign the collective bargaining agreement with IAFF Local 1769, the firefighters union. I'd seek a motion.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right. How are you guys?
Mr. Chairman, excuse me, would you like them to come up and sign now?
Sure.
I am well, how are you? Thank you. Okay, so this is the older one, and if you could sign on the left side, where these 2 stickers are, and then Selectmen will then sign on the right. Okay. Thanks.
I was going to propose.
What's that?
That one here, I was going to propose.
For you, I'll get that to you tomorrow.
Have you already signed them?
You have 2?
No.
You have 2?
You already signed them, and they get one
everyone
copy, right?
Yep. He's losing some ink here.
That one here.
Yeah.
Should we sign it now? Then take that? Mary Beth, do we need to sign it so they can get their own copy?
On the right side, the two tabs on the right. There were two.
Is it 3? No, 2. On the right there. One's on the right. These two.
The blue thing
Yeah,
on the left-hand side.
as soon as I get to it. We sign it.
Where that came from?
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
This one needs to be signed?
Thank you.
There you guys.
On the left side.
Right, you didn't sign this one?
No, there's like,
Or did you sign it on the
how
right?
many are there?
There are two contracts. One has two tabs and one has four here. This is the second batch. Left side,
Oh, we have to sign on this one too.
yes.
Here's one. Why is there, what is this one here?
No, that's where they signed.
Okay. What is this one?
This tab, right there. Nope.
No, not this one.
Next page.
Third pen?
In the back there.
Ah,
Switch jackets and forgot to pack one.
they didn't sign this one?
Did I miss one? Did I miss one?
I think they might have missed a page.
Schedule for next meeting.
Oh. When we get to the SEU, when we get to this contract, there's two tabs.
Oops.
They already signed this.
Okay, is that on the agenda?
Yep.
Which one is that?
Signed collective bargaining, SEIU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll sign that.
So were there two contracts?
Wow.
Two for the
I
fire.
think it's one Carl missed too.
It's very old. Yeah.
Dan got it.
All right.
Before my time.
Good. I think, yeah, should be. If I miss one, let me know.
And they missed it.
That it?
This will be the library. We-
Dan missed one.
We haven't done that one
No,
yet.
we have not.
I should keep this in roll.
Yeah, this is one.
Do they need to do
So this goes
Excuse me.
there.
Does the library need to be here?
No, they signed it ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, they signed it ahead.
Michelle is good like that.
I guess it has to be voted first. Okay.
Vote that, we're gonna vote that?
Yeah, we already voted that one.
Oh, the library one?
Robert, we voted it. I did that first.
Oh, you did?
They weren't here, right?
Right, so we just need to sign it.
Yeah,
Okay,
we just gotta
great.
sign it.
Oh, so we can sign it?
This
Is the second conflict with it. Also,
I think
So
they
this
missed,
is-
they may have missed a page.
and Dan missed a signature.
this is
That's one. Just set that on top of it.
so that's
This one here too.
so both of these.
Looks like they already signed it.
Yeah, so that's
They
on
did,
top
they
of
didn't
all that.
show up tonight.
That's one contract.
Yeah, that's the side letter to the other.
Right.
Yeah. Send that one back to Dan if you don't mind. It was the second, the back page.
Back page to one of these that everyone seems to be missing. Yeah, right there. Okay.
Thank you.
So, I can put it all together. Perfect. That's okay, not a problem,
All
thank
right.
you.
Just 2 pages on that one.
Yep. Just that. Grab that one after, right? All right. So moving on to, back to new business. Seek a motion to act to renew the taxi livery license and taxi livery driver certificate for Eric Young, DBA Sleepner Transportation, located at 8 Daneka Drive for a period of April 1, 2023 through March 31, 2024, subject to receipt of all paperwork and license fees.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Yes. Act to renew the taxi livery license and taxi livery driver certificate for Edwards Transportation, operated by Edward Gergis, 15 Hilltop Road for the period of April 1, 2023 through March 31, 2024, subject to receipt of all required paperwork and license fees.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous. Act on the resignation of Karen Marshall from the position of member, Historical Commission, effective February 17, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Yes. Vote to rescind the appointment of Mr. Lincoln Heineman as member of the DPW Building Committee and to appoint Mary Beth Carter to the position of member, DPW Building Committee.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous.
Welcome.
Act on the request of Town Clerk Don Varley to reappoint Vaughn B. Evans to the position of Registrar of Voters for a 3-year term beginning April 1, 2023 and expiring on March 31st, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Act on the request of Jim Mortgage and David Whitman on behalf of the Harbor to Bay Incorporated for permission to pass through Whitman along Route 58 between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 10 a.m. on Saturday, September 23rd, 2023, in connection with the 21st and final Harbor to the Bay charity bike ride.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Back to old business. Request of the Whitman Cultural Council for permission to use the Town Hall Auditorium on June 23, 2023 at 6 p.m. for an indoor concert by the Massachusetts Walking Tour.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Chairman, this was conditionally approved at the last meeting. There were a few other questions that we wanted answered, so I did go back to the Cultural Council. And this concert will be from 6 to 8 p.m. It's on Friday, June 23rd. They usually finish up around 7:30 to leaving a little time to meet the audience afterwards. The concert will be free to the public, and it will not be a fundraiser, and that was one of the questions that we had. So where this is put on by the Cultural Council, there will be, a custodian needed for some time, but normally that is not a fee charged to the group. Okay?
So seeking to finalize permission on this, again, it's request of the Whitman Cultural Council for the Town Hall for an indoor concert, free to all residents, held by the Massachusetts Walking Tour.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Town Administrator's report.
Yes, so, Mr. Chairman, I did take a look at what we had in the past for the Assistant Town Administrator job description and posting, and I condensed that, I went over it, and it's now just a page and a half. I'm ready to post this with your approval. The updates will be, there will be a salary range. There was $100,000 that has been budgeted the past few years, so there'll be a range of like $90,000 to $100,000, if you're amenable to that. And I will put the normal full-time hours and so forth, and the address in which the resume should be emailed to will be the employment email address, not directly to me. So if you don't have any suggestions or changes, or if you do, I'll make them. Or
All right, why don't we, so you'd be seeking a motion to post the ATA job description, which was included in our packet. I'll seek a motion and a second to open it up for discussion.
I'll motion.
Second.
Discussion. Anyone? Comments, questions?
I guess just where do you plan on posting it? I know we've gone between MMA, a couple of industry organizations the last time. The previous posting went on Indeed, and we got just a flurry of resumes. I don't know what your plan was here.
Well, definitely MMA. Certainly, I can put it on Indeed as well, local newspaper as well. And I can, I'll take a look at where we posted in the past, so not a problem at all, but it will definitely be put out there on several sites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd hold off on Indeed until we see what happens with local newspapers and the MMA.
And I have put positions when I was a treasure collector on Indeed, and I was inundated with over 100.
Carl and I had to sort through quite a few.
And
So we'll hold off on that for now, sure.
yeah, let's see what happens.
Okay, very good.
That's my thought anyway.
What was the salary?
What's budgeted is $100,000.
And she did put a range in, 90 to 100, correct?
That's what I will put on the posting, yes.
We have a motion and a second to post the job. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. DPW project.
DPW project. Okay, that is just really a quick update. I was part of the DPW marketing meeting last week, and they were discussing that they want to have the DPW project on the DPW webpage, but there'll be a link on the Facebook page to bring people to a project website where that will be maintained by the project and not by the town. So they just want to, put photos and information on the DPW site, and then the Facebook link that will take people out to the project website. I just wanted to make you aware of that.
All right. Similar to the school project, we, when it does finally get up and running, we're also posting that on the town site, and we did take a vote to do the middle school, right? That would just use the URL, and so I don't know if we also want to use the, but look into Josh putting this up on the town site as well, that would take them to that Facebook page.
Right, that would be great.
All right. So, before we wrap up, I just again would reiterate Dr. Kowalski's statements. Frank, it's been, you've done a great service to the town, and the position you stepped in, I know you didn't think you'd be here this long. It did take us a bit, but I think the wait was worth it, and things worked out great for the town. But I personally want to thank you again.
And I really want to thank you.
Well, yeah, we can recall that Frank was in charge of the search for the town administrator, and
And he's been an absolute tremendous help for me in these past few weeks. Yeah. I'll never be a Frank Lino, but I'll do my best.
And with that,
Mr. Chairman, may
Yes.
I add a couple more things very quickly?
sure.
I'm sorry, under my report.
No problem.
But the Whitman Middle School feasibility study, we have a ban that's coming due in June. The article for the feasibility study was $850,000. A ban was taken out for $500,000, and the interest is coming due a little over $10,000. So we do have a choice to either roll the ban another year, pay the ban interest and some principal, or pay the whole note off. While I don't think that's an option for Whitman right now to pay the $500,000 plus the interest, I would suggest that we roll the ban another year. The ban was taken out with an interest rate a little over 2%, 2.08%. So I wanted to just bring that to your attention. We will have to give an answer to John Stanbrook at the high school. It's our decision, but he'll need to know what we want to do with that before it comes due.
Just, Mary Beth, if we roll it, do we keep that 2.08% interest, or do we have to sort of reissue?
Right, when you roll it, you go out in the then current rate for the ban.
What do you think the current rate will be?
Well, actually, the ban, this ban that was taken out was combined with an amount for Hanson as well. So it was like a $710,000 ban that the district took. I mean, the ban rates, I mean, even right now, if we were to bond today, for a project, it may be, a little under 4. So the bans are always, less than, of course, the bond. But I can certainly check on the current rate, but it's a small amount. It will be higher than the 2.08, but still, I think that it would be in our best interest at this time at a low rate. We're, I think, paying the $500,000 come June. I don't know if that's doable at this time.
We don't have the money to pay it off, right?
I wouldn't say. I mean, other things would have to, be sacrificed.
And I know Mr. Stanbrook, a short time, a couple weeks ago now, came to me to discuss this, and my suggestion at that time was wait until you had gotten in and taken a look at it and given us some advice. And I agree. We probably would need to vote that, wouldn't you, to roll it over, Frank? Yes.
So you need a motion to roll that ban over till, when, next year?
I would say another one-year ban
Another
at
1
this
year?
point.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Second? Yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Great, thank you. My last item is the Finance Committee would like to hold a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen at the end of March, March 28th, if the board is amenable
Our
to
next
that.
meeting, right?
Are we meeting on the
Or
21st?
on the 21st.
21st?
Yes.
I suspect they wanted the 28th to have time to look at requests in the warrant once it's released. You may want to look at it on the 21st and invite them in.
Unless you want to postpone the meeting, change it to the 28th.
Was it,
We could do that.
they said the end of March, so I mean, I'm sure the 21st, as long as they have time to,
It gives more than 2 more weeks.
Yeah, so we could,
We could move the meeting to the 28th.
all right, so we'll move our meeting to the 28th, and we'll start the joint meeting at 6:15. That work for everyone?
Say 6:15?
Works for me, but is there any feedback that we need to give prior to that with anything pressing, like with the schools, that kind of thing? Is that going to push the timeline pretty close, or in some ways sooner could be better that way, but
The school budget has to be set the 15th, and from all signs, that point, we won't see that until the 15th.
See-
I think that's why we did the 21st.
Well, then maybe we should ask the Finance Committee if they can do the 21st.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
keep it that way. if
certainly could
things
do
are-
that.
If we got other things that are just as important,
Right.
then they want to do that.
So we will go back to March 21st will be our next meeting. We'll start a joint meeting with the Finance Committee at 6:15. Does that work for everyone?
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
no, I'm sorry.
All right. At this time, I would seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone.
What if I borrow a pen again?